Your dog isn't just looking at you. They're holding on to you, trying to understand you, without saying a single word. And that stare you sometimes notice, quiet, unbroken, almost intense, it's not random, it's communication. But what your dog is really trying to communicate is something most people never fully understand. And once you do, the way you see your dog will never be the same again. Because that moment of eye contact is not just about looking, it's about connection, trust, and sometimes emotional dependence. And what it means depends on something deeper than behavior. It depends on how your dog feels about you in that exact moment. But here's the part most people miss. That stare can change meaning without warning. And later, when it disappears or becomes different, it's often a signal you shouldn't ignore. Now let's go deeper into what's really happening behind that silent gaze. When your dog stares at you calmly, without blinking or moving away, it often means they are studying you. Not in a fearful way, but in a connected, attentive way. Dogs rely heavily on nonverbal cues. Your posture, your breathing, your tone, even your micro-movements. Everything matters to them. So when your dog locks eyes with you, they are reading you, trying to predict what you'll do next, trying to understand your emotional state. This isn't just curiosity, it's awareness. And at a deeper level, it reflects trust. Because a dog that feels unsafe or unsure will avoid prolonged eye contact. They will look away, turn their head, or break the connection quickly. But when your dog holds that gaze, it often means they feel secure enough to stay present with you. And that's where something subtle begins to form. A silent emotional loop between you and your dog. You look at them, they look back. You move, they respond. You stay still, they observe. Over time, this creates a kind of emotional synchronization. Your dog begins to align with your energy, your routine, your presence. But that's not the only meaning behind the stare. Because sometimes, your dog is not just observing. They are waiting. Waiting for a cue, waiting for direction, waiting for reassurance. You might notice this during quiet moments, when you're sitting, distracted, or about to make a decision. Your dog stares at you, unmoving. This is where instinct meets attachment. In the absence of clear signals, your dog looks to you as a reference point. Not just as an owner, but as a guide. And this is where their emotional dependency can quietly show itself. Your dog may not feel complete without your feedback, not in an unhealthy way, but in a deeply bonded way. They've learned that your reactions shape their world. So they watch, closely, patiently. But here's where it becomes more emotional. That same stare can also appear when your dog feels uncertain. Not necessarily scared, but unsure of the situation or environment. In those moments, your dog uses eye contact as an anchor. Looking at you helps them regulate their internal state. It's like they're checking, are we okay? Is everything safe? What should I do next? And your response, your tone, your expression, even your silence, can influence how they feel in that moment. That's why your presence matters more than you realize. Because to your dog, you are not just part of their environment, you are the center of it. But there's another layer most people completely miss. Sometimes, that stare is not about you doing anything at all. It's about your dog simply being close to you. No expectation, no request, just presence. In those quiet moments, your dog may be expressing something very close to contentment. They're not asking for food, they're simply there. They're not waiting for a command. They're simply sharing space with you. And that silent eye contact becomes a form of emotional bonding. A connection that doesn't need movement or words to exist. But now here's where things take a more serious turn. If the nature of that stare begins to change, it can carry meaning. If your dog suddenly avoids eye contact after previously maintaining it, it may reflect a shift in emotional comfort. If the stare becomes more frequent but more anxious, it may indicate uncertainty or stress. Dogs rarely express change through obvious signals first. They express it subtly, through behavior like this. So when the pattern of their eye contact changes, it's worth paying attention, because it often reflects something internal that hasn't been addressed yet. And this is where your awareness becomes important. Not to overreact, but to observe, to understand, to stay connected. Because your dog doesn't communicate in complex language. They communicate through consistency, behavior, and moments like this. And that stare you sometimes take for granted, it's one of the clearest ways your dog connects with you emotionally. So the next time your dog looks at you without blinking, don't rush to look away. Pause for a moment. Notice their posture. Feel the energy of the moment. Because in that silent exchange, something deeper is happening than simple observation. It's trust, it's attachment, it's awareness, and above everything else, it's connection. Because to your dog, looking at you isn't just a habit. It's a way of staying close to the one they rely on the most.